Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. I had a request from a patron to do an updated EV analysis on Commander Masters draft boxes. So if you're a patron, you'll be seeing this over on Patreon on Wednesday, November 8th, the day that I did the analysis. And if you're not a patron, you'll be watching this on YouTube sometime later. So I got the question to do this. This is one of those boxes that I do an EV analysis on it maybe every 2 or 3 weeks because just kind of glancing at it, going to MTG Box Sim and just spamming the generate box button a while. It's one of those boxes when I look at it, I say, it's probably not quite there. Now, a couple things you may have noticed since the last time you saw this spreadsheet, this tool, I've added this optional EV adjustment. That's for things where, say, MTG Box Sim is incorrect or it's not always picking up the right stuff all the time. For example, Baldur's Gate draft boxes, it has the Archaeologist full art, which is a legendary full art background, which the draft boxes don't actually include, but on MTG Box Sim they show them. So I make an adjustment on that based on how often it comes up on MTG Box Sim and the price of the card. Or Jumpstart 2020, there are the basic lands that sell for an excessively high price due to a bug in TCG Player's cart optimizer. And so you can sell those lands very quickly and add $4 or $5, $9, something like that, to every box of Jumpstart 2020. And so that's what that additional field is for. It's blank for this analysis of Commander Masters draft boxes because I don't currently know of any adjustments I need to make to compensate for problems in MTG Box Sim. Now, what you'll see is I've taken 56 generated boxes of all cards, 56 generated boxes of all cards over $1. Nothing special about that number. It's probably high enough to smooth out the variability enough. Now, obviously, the foil full art Jeweled Lotus, yeah, that makes a very high variability when you do draw one of those in the boxes, and probably 56 is about right to get a feel for whether or not these boxes are worth opening. So average box price, all cards, average box price of boxes counting only the cards over $1, the difference between the two, the capture rate of 35%. And I made a post to my patrons a couple weeks ago that I was changing this number. Historically, I've put 20% capture rate of the value of cards below $1. I've done some actual analysis from my real sales on TCG Player. I've updated that number to 35%. I think it's actually closer to somewhere between 40 and 50%. And on a long timeline, it should be higher than that. So given that I can calculate it in the 40 to 50% range, I've changed it to 35% in the model just to be conservative as always. So then we calculate captured EV before fees, and the most important number, what is your effective fee rate? Now, I have 22% in here. Before I was a direct seller on TCG Player, it was 22%. This is the important part. Listen carefully. Before I was a direct seller, my effective fee rate was about 22%. And when you go down to that green box of profit per box, buying them at $187 per box today, you get to $44 of profit per box and a 23% return on invested capital. Now, I am currently a direct seller on TCG Player, so I have a higher effective fee rate, and that makes sense because TCG Player touches my cards a lot. And so it costs more money to sell them. My current new effective fee rate for being a direct seller is about 32%. And I know some people will lose their minds and say, oh my God, the fees, dude, it pushes so much volume. It is worth it. 32% effective fee rate. Now keep your eyes on the green box. When I update this, it goes from $44 profit per box to $14 per box. And that return on invested capital of this activity drops to 8%. This is why you need to be very careful. You need to be doing some math on your own, or if you're using my numbers, you need to have confidence that my numbers apply to you also. Now, let's imagine you own a card store, okay? If you own a card store, you'll have the best of both worlds because you can take cards that are over some arbitrary cost, let's say $40 of value, and those might go into the display case, and they'll be sold at a what, 2.95 or 3% fee rate, which is actually just the credit card transaction fee for selling them in store. In essence, TCG Player will not get a cut of those cards. So if you are a brick and mortar card store owner and you're watching this and for some reason you're relying on me for help, then you need to have an idea of what that does to your fee rate when you take the best and most expensive cards out of the box. You don't let TCG Player get a cut of them, and you put them in your display case and you sell them there at only a 3% credit card transaction fee. Just keep all those things in mind, guys, when you're looking at these numbers. Now, over on TCG Player today, let's actually just go over there and look real quick. $187. Hey, 3 boxes there. And then we've got some more 187s, 4 boxes, and some 186s with a single 99-cent shipping charge that will cover all 12. So, hey, there's a decent number, 20 boxes in that range today. $5 shipping to get another 5 boxes. Hey, that's only 1 per box, so 188. And then it goes up to 194. But, if you're imagining this, and let's say that you are non-direct and you're at that lower effective fee rate. Now, again, that was my historical non-direct fee rate of about 22%. Then, yeah, you could probably afford to pay a couple extra dollars for the boxes and still get some profit. Now, your sales volume will be lower because you're non-direct. It's going to take more time to sell through them all. You have to make those choices yourself, assess your own situation, assess how quickly you're trying to turn your capital around, assess what your sales rates are, all of those things. And keep in mind also, you might price all your cards a couple of percent below market price, run through, redo the math yourself, and figure out what that looks like to you if you're pricing them below market in order to push volume faster. But it looks like if you are non-direct, there's a decent amount of profit on Commander Masters draft boxes sold on TCG Player today. Again, I do not include the 3% infinite subscription cash back. I don't try to include credit card cash back in this model. I personally keep those things in my business just as additional buffer and cushion against uncertainty, against loss, against fraud, against every other risk of running a business. And if you're at that 32% fee rate, well, $14 profit per box, that's a little rough to justify because, again, maybe you'll get some jeweled lotuses and you'll come out great. Maybe you won't get any jeweled lotuses if you only buy a couple of boxes. Maybe you're able to go out there when you first see this video published this afternoon and you can buy all 20 of those boxes, and that'll smooth out your full art foil jeweled lotus pool rate and you'll get this. But, if you're a direct seller, it doesn't look like the right price for you. If you're non-direct, probably looks okay if you're willing to sit on the product for a little while and sell through it and make the money kind of slowly like we do. So I looked over on eBay and I could not find a large amount of boxes in this kind of price range. You might find 1 or 2, you might stalk some auctions, grab a couple like that, but there are not as many available there at those kind of prices as there are on TCG Player. I'll put a affiliate link down to TCG Player below, and if you want to use that, it'll kick back a couple percentage to me. I always appreciate that, and it helps out a ton. So, like I said, if you want to see these analyses on the days that I'm doing them and not wait till days later when my patrons have had the opportunity to clean out the inventory, then come join the Patreon for $4 a month. If you buy a single one of my deals ever or benefit from a single one of my analyses ever, then it'll probably pay for years of the Patreon program while you wait for another great opportunity to profit from the knowledge that I share in a timely manner over there. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my exceptionally generous patrons over on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.